Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a heads up before the episode. We did experience a lot of technical difficulties and some audio issues, so we've been kind of deeming this as the cursed episode because it's just been one small issue after another small issue. So it's going to be edited pretty heavily, but regardless, hopefully you guys still enjoy the show and thank you for watching.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Frickin' Uncultured podcast. My name is Chandler, and as always, I'm joined with Andy. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you today?
I'm doing good. Like I just told you, I slept pretty good last night. Slept a good 10 hours, having some Benadryl fever dreams.
There you go.
Thankfully, the Hat Man didn't show up and try to get his money I owe him. But
There's always tomorrow,
yeah.
man. There's always
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah, there's always another day for the Hat Man. But what you been up to, man?
Not a whole lot. As usual, work's always work. But I've been playing a little bit more Clair Obscure, just thoroughly enjoying that. Like it's been a lot of fun, but it's a slow grind, man. Like I'm 44 hours in according to my PlayStation, and I
Hmm.
feel like I've barely scratched the surface of that game. Like I know there's so much to it, but I'm just kind of surprised by that. I feel like that I should be a lot further, but it says I'm about halfway through. So, and I know those little estimates aren't always 100% correct, but you know, but I'm enjoying it. The
Yeah.
game it's so much fun to play, man. Kind of
No.
kind of frustrating in some parts, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean by it feels like it's kind of slow. Like, well, I mean, the game itself isn't slow, but it feels like for how much time you've put into it, you haven't necessarily done a lot.
Yep. Yeah, it's a
And
slow grind for sure.
yeah, and that's not dogging on the game's pacing
No.
or anything. Honestly, I think it's paced fairly well.
Mhm.
Uh, but then again, though, whenever I think back on it, the prologue did take up quite a bit of time.
I mean, but I don't know, man. Like I'm gonna be a little weird here, but I don't feel like the chapters or the acts that the game is signifying. I don't really feel
Hmm.
like they honestly matter. Like I don't feel
No,
like I
I,
don't
I yeah.
like it's not a break in the story. I feel like it's just a designation of a place to stop.
Hmm.
But the story, there's no offbeat for the story. Like it's still all the same dramatic stuff is still happening. Then it's like Act Two,
Yeah.
and then it's like, all right, we're gonna keep going with that same feeling, and it's like, okay. I mean, not dogging on the game, but I don't feel like I'm playing like Evil Within, where it was like
Hmm.
chapter one, chapter two, chapter three, chapter four. Like this is just a solid story, and then they throw in an act one, act two, chapter
Yeah.
screens.
So just the thing of like there's just some like unnecessary stuff, but nothing that is, a detriment to the game.
It's like back in the day when you go to the movies and there's an intermission screen in the middle of the movie.
Hey man, some movies need an
Yeah.
intermission though. I'm just saying because their movies are getting longer and longer.
I
So
mean, fair. I get it. I
and
get it.
and that's the thing is if I have to go to the bathroom, man, I paid to see this movie. I'm going to make sure my bladder bursts before I miss a single minute of this movie. So I paid to be here.
I'm going down and I'm taking this chair with me.
Exactly. I feel sorry for anybody who works here.
All right.
So,
Well, yeah, that's it for me, man. Not a whole lot. I've been playing Apex, playing Clair Obscure. Been uploading to the solo channel and getting some interesting feedback there. I mean, I've hit 8,000 views now, so it's just like it's
woo!
slowly climbing, man. It's crazy to see it. So they're all shorts, views and stuff, and I don't feel like that's as meaningful as like actual content views.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's neat to see, kind of the slow progression of the work. So
It is a milestone nonetheless.
yeah, still I'm
So,
happy. My wife every time we get home, like she runs in and like she'll peek in the room just to see where it's at because she's enjoying seeing the number rise too. So it's interesting because I have a little counter back here on my
yeah.
that actually tells me everything. So,
No, that's cool.
but yeah, that's
So,
that's
but
all I
yeah.
got. What about you, man? What's other than a move again over here? What's been in
Well,
your life?
obviously, I've been moving and everything. That's been no secret. But we are officially less than a week away from being moved. So
Ooh,
I'm super excited about that. And this is actually going to be the last recording done in this office and done in this house. And so it's a little sad, man, especially because we've been doing this for almost half a year, if not half a year at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah. So it's the end of an era.
That's crazy that we've been doing this for like 6 months now. Like, I didn't even think of that, but it's, dude, like, because we started in mid to late December, right?
So no, we've been doing it for half a year.
Jesus. That's crazy,
Uh,
man. We're gonna have to do something
yeah.
big for our 1 year then, obviously.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll come up with something. But and then outside of, packing and getting moved and everything, I've been playing Doom the Dark Ages and I've been trying to get through it. So I'm on chapter 17 of 22 now,
Yeah.
and it has gotten insane. Some of the stuff they have introduced. The end of chapter 14 actually caught me off guard
Huh. Okay.
because they introduced something that I would have never in a million years expected a Doom game to introduce into its story.
Or I mean, I guess I was gonna say what's that, but don't
Yeah,
spoil it. So
it is heavy spoilers.
yeah, let's
So
not do that.
if you want, I'll tell you off to the side, unless you're going to play through on your own and figure it out for yourself. But
I don't know, man. Like I said, Doom's a lot of fun. Like obviously, it's just fast paced, crazy action.
yeah,
But it's not reinventing the wheel, in my opinion. It's not anything. I don't know, man. Like I enjoy it, but after a chapter or two, I'm kind of just like, all right, I'm done.
okay. Do you want me to text it to you then, real quick?
You can if you want.
Well, do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, man. I'll play it, but I'm not like, to me, Doom's not like, it's not a super lore driven kind of game. Like, I mean, I know it is, but it's
Oh
not
yeah, it
like
is.
it's not it's not like Elden Ring or anything to me.
Okay, here. All right, I'm texting you then, so I can see your reaction.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and that
interesting.
and that whole universe, by the way.
See, that's interesting to me, but I
Oh
like
yeah.
that stuff. To me, that catches my attention because I played a lot of
So
those games. So
now you're going to keep playing,
I
huh?
mean, I was gonna keep playing anyway, but it's not
Okay.
something that's the forefront. Like right now, Expedition 33 is my big forefront game that I'm trying to get through because I've got that. I've got a few games I really want to get into and play. I still want to play Death Stranding with DS2 coming out.
Yep.
But I mean, there's a few games in my backlog that are kind of taking precedence, but Doom is one I do want to play.
But I'm trying to get through Doom the Dark Ages currently, and I'm trying to get through Clair Obscur, obviously. But it's just getting to the point we're getting in the year where there's a lot coming out. We're at the time of this recording 4 or 5 days away from Switch 2 dropping.
Ugh.
So that means Mario Kart, Donkey Kong. We're fixing to be getting all of our games for the year. We're getting to that point now where we're fixing to start seeing release after release after release. So
What is going
what was
on?
that? I
That
heard that.
that was something disconnecting and reconnecting.
What is going on today?
I have no idea. Like that was super weird. All right.
Should we? Are we good to keep rolling?
Yeah, let's keep at it for now.
Okay. So, anyway, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. And just to give a little heads up as well, today's topic, there's not necessarily a trailer or anything or gameplay for some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. So, we've just kind of gotten as close as we could to what we want to talk about trailer wise
Yeah.
for the stuff that we have playing in the background. So, just a heads up on that. So, some of these are games we know that are in the wild and they exist and they released. So,
And on
but with
on top
that
of
though,
that, like he's saying, there's not official trailers, so we had to find different trailers on YouTube to talk about these. So we're not
yes,
taking credit for any of these trailers. We're not taking ownership or anything like that. This is us pulling from YouTube and just sharing their videos. So if you do see any watermarks or anything that kind of show who the trailer is from, go show them some support. Tell them they were featured on Freaking Uncultured. Let them know you appreciate sharing their videos, even though we just kind of use the video, I guess. Tell them thank you. That's all I can say is just tell
yeah.
them thank you.
Well, some of these uploaders are not going to care whatsoever.
100%. 100%.
So anyway, but yeah, so today we're going to be talking about canceled video games. So games that were coming out that Andy and I were super excited for, and they never saw the light of day for one reason or the other.
Yep. Nope.
So,
So I think this will be an interesting one. We got a lot of different titles to go over, and it'll be. I don't know. Like I don't have a ton of talking points on mine. One I do. I could talk for years on it, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can do anything, and let's see how this episode goes. So I'm gonna
woohoo!
start. I'm gonna switch it over to the video feed, and whenever you are ready, go ahead and start the first one, man.
All right, so for my first pick, I'm picking a game that came out in 1999 or 2002. It was somewhere in that time, but it was supposed to get a sequel, but that sequel never saw the light of day, though. And so that is Conker's Bad Fur Day. So Conker's Bad Fur Day is the rated M rare platformer. I'm sure everybody's heard about it at this time. You know, it's been around for a long time,
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody knows it's the cutesy game where the squirrel swears. So it was supposed to receive a sequel called Conker's Other Bad Day, and it was going to be absolutely insane, crazier than this one. They had so much planned for it, and like for example, one of the characters in Conker's Bad Fur Day, he's a boss, is the Great Mighty Pooh, which is a giant opera singing pile of poo. So they were going to bring him back in some form or fashion where it was going to be called the Cthulhu poo, where it was literally just Cthulhu as a giant mound of poo. And then some characters were going to be returning from the first game, and they were going to be enemies where they were friends initially. And the game was supposed to start out with you actually breaking out of prison. So there was obviously a lot planned for this sequel, and there's concept art out there too that you can actually go and look up, and there's a lot that you can actually find out about this game. I know I've stated quite a bit for a canceled game. So like I said, it was pretty far into the concept stages. I don't know if any development actually got started for it or not. But it ended up not coming out due to the fact that Rare ended up being acquired by Microsoft. So, and if you're like me and you're a big fan of Banjo Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day, you know that's kind of where Rare ends as a company. Even though they're still around to this day, they're just not what they used to be. And so, to me, it's a shame that we never got to see Conker's Other Bad Day, and instead, Microsoft had Rare, the team for Conker, make Conker Live and Reloaded, which is just the Xbox remake of Conker's Bad Fur Day. So it's kind of a shame we never got a sequel. Instead, we got a remake for no reason other than Microsoft wanted them to do it and add multiplayer.
Yeah.
So
No, and this game's ridiculous, man. It's so cool. This brings me back to the day of like Banjo Kazooie and stuff like that. Playing, sitting on the floor in front of my TV with my N64 controller, man. Like that brings me back to those days. So.
yeah, and also let me specify: Conker's Bad Fur Day, the original, also had couch co-op multiplayer. I just mean Xbox wanted them to do it in the wake of Xbox trying to make everything have multiplayer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they actually went on and created something that is more akin to what we see nowadays for multiplayer instead of what we got for the original release.
Yeah. It would be nice. I mean, of the two, I would like to see a proper Banjo, but I mean.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I mean,
And
if they decided to do this, like, I'd be okay with it too. So.
And honestly, whenever I was brainstorming what games I wanted to talk about for this episode, I actually initially had thought about talking about Banjo 3 or Banjo X, whatever it was called. And I actually did some digging and research on it initially, but then I was like, I talk about Banjo time, so let's give his younger brother some love.
All right.
So,
So.
but do you have any thoughts about Conker's Other Bad Fur Day? Did you even
No,
know it was in development?
I didn't know there was a new Conkers. I mean, I probably did. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I didn't know if it. I guess I didn't think anything of it because I mean, they always talk about projects in the works, but I mean it could be a title on a piece of paper, and that could be the development process. So.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So I'm just watching this trailer and enjoying it. Again, it's just kind of bringing me back to the day of sitting down and playing on my N64. So
Yep, those are good times, good memories.
they are
So
very good times. Real quick before we jump into the next one, apparently we are having some audio issues and we keep kind of cutting in and out. So I apologize about that. We'll have to address that at some point in the future, but just please, bear with us while we're getting through this because we're both dealing with it here as well. So
it's a cursed episode.
it is canceled games, canceled podcast, as you said earlier, Chandler.
Yeah, I know. So everybody, cross your fingers, wear your garlic necklaces, bring out your crucifixes because this is a cursed episode.
Dum dum dum.
Dun dun dun. And it's not even October, so we can't even like really play heavily. So
that's funny because you said that and you cut out right when you did that.
It is a cursed episode.
It's trying to silence you. So for my first canceled game, this is actually kind of a recent one. Like this was actually just announced or officially canceled, probably like a month and a half ago, maybe a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give some context here because I find this funny because I'm a huge fan of the universe, but I haven't played the game we're about to show to talk about the canceled game.
Oh, really?
I know. So, just to kind of give the spoiler on this, I'm a huge Apex Legends fan. Like, that's not a surprise. Like, I'm really big into Apex. And Apex actually comes from Titanfall. The Titanfall series is what spawned the lore for Apex Legends. And I played the first one. I wasn't really a big fan of the first one, but I did play it. And then I didn't play the second one. And I don't think the second one really got due credit that it should have, because it won Story Campaign of the Year at the Game Awards when it came out, and it did very well, and now it's kind of like a fan favorite. Like, there's a ton of, like, cult following to this game. I mean, the online servers and everything are still going to this day. It's just, sadly, they're riddled with hackers and cheaters, and Respawn just... It seems like this is kind of an afterthought for Respawn. Like, it doesn't seem like this isn't their focus. Apex is their focus right now, or any other games they're working on. But I never played Titanfall 2, and I own it. I bought it on both PlayStation and Xbox, and actually I own it on PC now too, but I never played it, and I need to. But Titanfall 3 was the one that officially got canceled, and I just have a feeling with them doing everything they've done in Titanfall 2, making Titanfall or Apex Legends, Titanfall 3 would have been incredible, man. The level, the movement in this game is unreal. I love the mech battles. I love the huge open world that they're kind of fighting in. I say open world, like the open battlefield, I should say. I don't know, man. Like this is right up my alley, and I need to get into Titanfall 2. And I know it's not a terribly long game, but it is something I feel like I would enjoy regardless. So Titanfall 3 is kind of one of the bigger games that I'm sad got canceled. And this wound is still a little bit fresh, because like I said, it officially got canned probably like a month and a half ago. But
Thanks, EA.
yeah, I mean, that's a whole other conversation we can have there. But do you have any insight on Titanfall, man? Did you ever play 2 or 1?
So I didn't play either of them. From my understanding, the first one didn't have a campaign or anything. It was just an online multiplayer only and a couch co-op game. Would I be correct in that?
It is. It's an online only shooter, but they overlay a campaign into the multiplayer game.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of take a story and just push it into online multiplayer.
Well, didn't they shut down the servers though for the first one? So you can play it anyway.
I don't know on that. I mean, I assume there's something you can do, I would think. But I don't know, because, yeah, it was online only.
Okay.
Or it was multiplayer only, I should say.
Okay, yeah, so I never played the first one nor the second one. The second one is actually what always interested me, though, and I do want to play the second one at some point in time. It looks very good, but Respawn obviously has proven their worth as a developer, because they've done Titanfall, they've done Apex, they have the Star Wars Jedi series, which those games are really good, too. So they've proven their worth as a developer. So it's a shame to see that Titanfall 3 got canned. But something else though that watching this trailer has awakened in my mind is, Titanfall and Titanfall 2 came out during the generation of PS4 and Xbox One,
Mm-hmm.
and just like, I don't know, just watching this trailer just reminds me of like when the PS4 and the Xbox One were coming out, and afterwards, all the trailers we got for games releasing, they just looked so cool. Why don't we get cool game trailers anymore?
I feel like this is coming from a graphic design standpoint. Like, to me, I feel like obviously we've gotten to a point, or there's a level of realism here. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like we're watching a movie. This is
Mhm.
something like you would see in a Transformers movie or something like that. And it's gotten to a point where I feel like instead of actually filming and doing this on a green screen stage or something like that, now we're just paying people to do it in a computer. And now we're
Yeah.
getting to a point where we're asking AI to do it. We're just typing in a synopsis of what we're looking for, and AI generates it, and it makes it incredible. Like, we're getting to a point where graphics are getting so one-to-one with what we're trying to replicate.
Yeah.
And it's impressive to see, but I'm with you, because to me, this makes me think of a time. Like kind of like with the Conker's Bad Fur Day and N64, sitting down in front of my TV with my controller plugged into my system, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
This makes me think of, like, the old Call of Duty trailers, the old Battlefield trailers, that generation of trailers. Hell, even the old Killzone trailers. Like, they were gorgeous looking. And they were very action-packed. Hell, Halo. We featured Halo on our last
Mhm.
episode, and watching that Halo 5 trailer still kind of gives you goosebumps, because when he drops the bubble shield and stuff, like, we don't see cinematic trailers like this anymore. So I agree 100%.
Yeah. It's sad. It's really sad. It takes away a lot of the charm. And not only that though, but I also feel like at the same time, with how much money goes into video games and marketing nowadays, like, you could give us a better trailer. Come on now.
I mean, I agree. Like, I think money could be spent in better ways regardless, but that's a whole other conversation too, man. I didn't realize this game was 2016. Jesus Christ, man. This game's 9
Yep.
years old.
Yep. How's that make you feel?
Oh, I haven't played it, so it's not like I'm emotionally attached to it or anything.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
So, but yeah, this is. I don't know, man. I just want cool game trailers again. That's all. That we need to move on, because now that's what I'm just I'm hung up on this now.
Yep.
So, do you have any closing thoughts or statements about
No,
Titanfall 3
this
getting
is
canceled?
yeah, this is hopefully, EA and Respawn will revisit this, but the problem is we're behind the clock on it at this point, and if they start this project and start a new one, we're not going to see Titanfall 3 for another 5, 6, 7 years. So
Which,
what's up?
speaking of EA cancellations, did you happen to see what else they canceled here recently?
What's that?
They canceled the single-player Black Panther game that was being
Yeah.
developed by Cliffhanger, and they even shut down Cliffhanger.
Yeah, I did see that.
Which, from my understanding, I don't think Cliffhanger even got the opportunity to release a game.
That sucks.
Yeah, hold on, let me see here.
That's like years of work and development, and you never get to see that project
Well,
never gets to see the light of day. That's disappointing. Disappointing. Good lord.
Oh yeah, and EA just gets a tax write-off on it. Let's see, Cliffhanger. Yeah, no, they literally, the Black Panther game would have been their first game.
That makes me wonder how the Black Panther game was going then.
Yeah, well, it also makes me wonder what else EA is probably going to can too, because Motive Studios is owned by EA, and they're currently in the development of the single-player Iron Man game.
Yep. But I mean, again, so like I have to look at it from both sides of the story. Like, it sucks, and I don't want to see anybody lose their job, and especially years worth of work that they've put into a game. But I also have to assume on EA's side, I wonder if they walked in and saw the progress on the Black Panther game, and they were just like, I'd rather scrap this project instead of fund it more.
Yeah.
Like, was it in good standing? Was it not in good standing? Did it, what position were we in? So that's the only thing I'm curious about. So
Yeah, but my thing is like I understand that point of view from scrapping the project, but to shut down the entire studio,
well, I mean,
you,
it could be a thing of they just maybe EA didn't want to house that development team anymore, but the studio
maybe,
couldn't stand on its own.
yeah.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see a rebirth of that studio, man. I mean, we saw what was it? Was it Monolith and all of them that got shut down earlier this year?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they got bought out by other parent companies. Or
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
I thought one of them did. I thought the team. I thought Monolith got picked back up.
I don't know. I'd have to look into that one.
Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but I know like a bunch of studios closed and then one of them got reopened.
Here, let me see here. Did Monolith get bought out? Oh, different Monolith. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't see anything about them being bought out by anybody.
Who's the team that does Evil Within?
Tango.
Tango got bought out. That's what it was. Tango
Yeah.
got revived. That's what it was.
They got bought out by Crafton, who published Callisto Protocol.
Yes. So that's the team I was thinking. Monolith was the guys
Okay.
that did Fear.
They did no. Monolith did Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Fear was an EA company.
I thought Monolith did Fear.
Did they?
Yeah. Because they put all of those games in the like a digital vault because Monolith got shut down.
Man, we're just going down a complete
Yeah, we're going
rabbit hole
a
with
crazy
this.
rabbit hole right now.
Developed Fear. First Encounter Assault Recon. Oh, it was Monolith. Okay.
Yeah. So I remember it was a big deal because when Monolith got shut down, a lot of people were talking about Fear and whatnot. And I love the Fear franchise. So
I never played the third one, but I played the first two.
the first two are much better.
Oh, okay. So I'm not missing anything.
The third one's not bad, but they really push online multiplayer. They really want that online component. So
Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we've just completely nosedived. This is a cursed episode, and it's also a distracting episode. So.
yeah, no, we're just gonna jump into your next one, man. We'll go from
All
here.
right.
We gotta. I actually, in looking at, well, no, never mind. We've had to make a couple cuts. So all right, yeah, we got some time to go. So I'm gonna let you jump into your next one, man.
All right. So for my next one, this one. We just pulled up a trailer for a game that's very similar to the one I wanted to talk. Pulled up the trailer for Cameo Elements of Power, which is also a game done by Rare of Conker's Bad Fur Day and Banjo-Kazooie fame. This is a game that they released for the Xbox 360. It's a platformer action. It's an action platformer, so something similar to like Prince of Persia or the older God of War games, except this one was rated T. So I would say it's probably closer to something like Prince of Persia. But you had the ability to transform into different monsters and stuff to help you progress through the game, whether it be in combat or traversal. So this game, the game that I want to talk about is a game called Harmony. So there's this company called Retro Studios, which is a company owned by Nintendo. And I personally like to think of them as a modern day Rare. They are responsible for Donkey Kong Country Returns, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and then they are also responsible for the Metroid Prime trilogy and are responsible for the upcoming Metroid Prime 4. But after their development of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, they actually started production on a project called Harmony. And sadly, Harmony ended up having to be canceled because initially Metroid Prime 4, I don't think this one was looped.
Nope.
Hold on.
All right, there we go. Good lord, man, what the fuck is going on?
But they had began after Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. They had began production on a game called Harmony. Harmony ended up having to be canceled because Metroid Prime 4 initially was not in the hands of Retro Studios. It was being developed by, I believe, Bandai Namco. and Nintendo didn't like the direction Bandai was taking it, so they went back to the tried and true team of Retro Studios to make the fourth one, since they made the original three, which I don't know why they just didn't ask them to do it from the beginning, but that's something else completely different. But Harmony ended up getting canceled because of it, and Harmony, there's actually video footage out there of a YouTuber who ended up getting a development kit for the game and access to some of, the programming, and he's actually has videos up there of test rooms and some of the environments that they did have made, which are very rudimentary. They didn't get super far into the development of the game, but there is footage out there if you want to see it. So, but yeah, Harmony looked very interesting, very cameo elements of power, and it's a shame that it got canceled. Hopefully, after Metroid Prime 4, they can go back to working on it. That would be nice, but I have a feeling that they're going to be working on Metroid Prime 5 afterwards.
I'm sure they've got a long line of projects to work on after, and I don't know if that's I don't know if we'll ever get to see Harmony on that one, man.
Yeah, I don't think we ever will, but have you heard about Harmony
I
at all?
actually haven't. That's a new one for me. So
Okay, yeah, no, I'll have to send you the link to the videos of the guy who ends up doing some of the early builds and everything, and playing through the test and the developer rooms and stuff. So,
yeah, no, I'll take a
but
look. But yeah, no, I'm not familiar with Harmony. So
are you familiar with Cameo?
yeah, no, I definitely know Cameo. I was looking at the trailer a second ago, and it's like Journey Begins Holiday 2005, and it's like, ugh.
Yep, it's a 20-year-old game.
Jesus Christ, man. But yes, I do remember Cameo when it came out on 360.
Yeah, so Harmony is very similar to Cameo,
Fair
and
enough.
but instead of transforming into different monsters, it looks like in Harmony you could just summon different monster friends at any given point, so that way you could do what you need to, whether it be combat or traversal. But very in the same vein of Cameo,
I
though.
feel like I that sounds so familiar. Like I feel like I remember this, but it may just be one I forgot. I guess I don't know. Like I'd have to see more on it, but I know, like I said, you'll send me, or like you said, you'll send me the link, and I'll take a look at it later.
Yeah, it's an interesting video. I wouldn't recommend watching the entire thing. It's pretty long, but
Yeah.
just skipping around and taking a look at it and everything would be cool. And then we could link it also to, excuse me, down below in this one. So if you guys want to check it out and everything, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, we can do
So
that. All right. Well,
yeah, because it's interesting and it's a side of game development you don't get to see that often, and
that's fair.
especially yeah, and especially for a game that gets canned too, because a lot of the games that get canceled, you don't ever really get to see anything outside of hearing about their cancellation. You don't get to see any of the behind the scenes. So,
Now that's kind of the interesting thing to see the behind the curtains when it comes to game development. It's an interesting process for sure. So
oh no, I agree. So, well, let's go ahead and move on from this one then. I feel like I've said all I wanted to say, and you're not too familiar with this project. So,
yeah.
what's your next project?
So this one, so I don't have a whole lot to say on this one because this one was announced back in 2013, and it kind of it made waves when it got announced back at Tokyo Game Show, but it just disappeared, and it was in development hell for quite a while, and basically it just literally up and vanished. Like at one point, head of PlayStation themselves said, "We don't know what's going on with this game." But this is deep down. And I'm pretty sure that's a working title. I don't think that's official. What they were going to officially call it, as it says right there.
There we go.
But this is deep down. It was actually made by Capcom back in the day, which that to me is a huge selling point. But this is kind of like Dark Souls meets Assassin's Creed, and this is definitely the time of the Souls-like games. Like obviously Dark Souls and Demon Souls were still really big, so everyone was kind of trying to capitalize on it. And this is Capcom's take on it, and it looked amazing. Like I'm sad this is a project that never saw the light of day. I love this. See, this to me is like my style video games. I like the fantasy style, Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff, magic and lore. And I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot on this like to talk because there wasn't a whole lot. I think we only got the one trailer, unless you know of a different trailer that I'm just overlooking.
I don't know. I feel like we did have another trailer at one point in time. I think the official, the original announcement trailer. I think this one was the second one.
Okay. Because
Unless I'm,
I remember gameplay. I do remember seeing gameplay at some point.
yeah.
So,
I don't know. I think I'm getting confused because I think there was another game that was announced around the same time as Deep Down that was very, very similar, but I can't remember what it was called.
okay.
But it also, involved you going down into a cave and everything and exploring as a knight. What is this? This is
I don't know. I haven't seen this.
why was there just a Street Fighter reference there?
I mean,
Okay, whatever.
yeah, but anyway, like I said, I'm gonna wrap this one up pretty quick because I don't have a ton to talk about. But this was a big deal. Like I said, this was very Dark Souls mixed with Assassin's Creed, and this trailer really didn't even dig into what the game could do because I remember there is a trailer that had gameplay. Actually, it was at Tokyo Game Show. That's the one that had gameplay, so it may have been a live demo or something. But this is one that I really wish we would have seen more on. It may have been great. It may have failed miserably. Like, it's too early to say. But this is one I was personally excited for. That, if unfortunately, it got the axe. So.
hmm Yeah, I remember whenever this one got announced, I was very interested in this one. And then this one also got announced around the same time as another game that I reference all the time, not on this show, but just outside of it, is Scalebound, which is also another canceled game that we're not talking about today. But honorable mention, I know you had no interest in it,
No.
but it was Devil May Cry with dragons. How could you not be interested?
I don't know. It just something about it. It just didn't catch my attention. Like, honestly, maybe if I watched the trailer now, like maybe when it got announced or revealed, I just wasn't interested in it. Maybe I would be more interested in it right now. But yeah, it wasn't at the time. It wasn't something I was chomping at the bit for. I know a lot of people were, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, no. So honestly, this is one that I grouped together deep down, and then if I could speak, goodness, Deep Down and Scalebound
There you go.
are ones that I grouped together because they were both announced around at the same time, and then they both ended up getting canceled, sadly. And I think I just remembered the game that this one is making me think of because it got announced around the same time. Yes, yeah, this one. This is another game that never saw the light of day. Oh no, it did come out. Okay, it came out. It just came out very late. Do you remember Below?
Yes.
Yeah, Below was announced around the same time as Deep Down and
Yep.
Scalebound.
No, I remember
So
that
that's
game. I was excited for that game. That one just took forever to release.
yeah, no, it did eventually come out in 2018, but it was
Yep.
initially announced in 2013.
Yep.
So, did you ever play it?
I did. I did play a little bit of that one.
Oh, was it good?
It was okay. It didn't hook me as quickly as I was hoping it would.
Okay.
So that's one I wouldn't mind like going back and trying again. Like that was actually interesting, and again I do remember that because I remember the art style for Below. It was very that isometric, that 2D. Like it was really neat looking. So
Yeah. So in my head, I associate all three of these games together because they were all announced at the same time, essentially.
fair enough. But all right, let's go into the next one, man. I know we're going on pretty crazy tangents today, so let's see if we can keep it on
Man,
track.
oh, I know. We're just all over the place today. So, all right, stay focused. I can talk a lot about this. So,
Yep.
um,
We could talk a lot about these last two, in all fairness.
oh yeah, we definitely could. So, back in 2020, we ended up getting Crash Bandicoot 4 from Toys for Bob, and it was great. It was the return that Crash Bandicoot needed. It was a return to format. It was a moderation of original Crash gameplay and story and just all the good stuff that made Crash Bandicoot great as an original trilogy by Naughty Dog. Toys for Bob replicated for the modern era. And so obviously you would think Crash Bandicoot 5 would have been in development at some point, and guess what? You would have been correct. But sadly, Activision in their infinite wisdom decided to pull Toys for Bob off of it to work on as backup for Call of Duty. So it never got to see the light of day, and there's actually a lot of information about Crash Bandicoot 5 out there. There's one video in specific we can link down below as well with the other one for the Harmony. But Game Explain, who I know you've heard of, so they have a full-length, like, hour video talking about the development of Crash Bandicoot 5 and showing off concept art that they ended up getting their hands on. And it looks like it would have been amazing. It was actually going to tackle more of a... Because, you know, Crash Bandicoot games, the Crash games are very linear in style, especially the original trilogy and 4. 5 was going to open it up a little bit more to be more similar to some Twinsanity, where it was still linear, but you had these little side paths you could go down for collectibles or to do other things. And Crash 5 was going to utilize that. And the whole premise of Crash 5, it was very, very Psychonauts-ish. Because the whole premise was going to be you were actually going inside the minds of Crash Bandicoot villains.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is real quick before I forget, I'm curious. So is this a completely dead project, or is this something that they could pick up at a later date?
So now it's a thing of, you know, Activision ended up getting bought out by Xbox. Everybody knows that at this point. So, and Toys for Bob was under Activision's umbrella, but they actually ended up going independent. So they are no longer owned by Xbox. They're just a studio standing on their own, but they are partnered with Xbox. We do know that for a fact, because stated so. So we know that they're working on a project and a property owned by Xbox. We don't know what that property is, though, because Toys for Bob did the Spyro Reignited trilogy as well. So there's a lot of speculation that it could be Spyro, it could be Crash, and then one of the guys at Toys for Bob has even stated that he would love to work on Banjo-Kazooie and make a Banjo-Kazooie, which is also owned by Xbox, so it would work out for them. Yeah. So there's not really any indication on what they're currently working on. If you were to look it up into it, though, and watch a specific YouTuber who I watch, his name is Canadian Guy A. He basically just does, like, he covers platformer game news, essentially. But he does a lot of Spyro and Crash content. So he actually has inside people at Toys for Bob, and he's actually very friends, or, well, I say friends, but, like, he's on very good terms with the creative director of Crash 4 and Spyro Reignited, and he's done multiple interviews with him. And here recently he did with him, and he didn't outright state what they were working on, but it's heavily implied that Spyro 4 right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I would love to see Crash 5 see the light of day. It was very unique and a very different take on Crash Bandicoot, because some of the stuff that you see is, one of them was you would go inside the mind be inspired. So you would have had dungeon.
Say that last section one more time. You cut out for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
You're just cutting in and out. Like it's getting rough.
Okay. So one of the villains whose mind you would have gone into would have been Tiny the Tigers, and his mind was actually going to be very D&D inspired. So you would have had dungeons to go through and different traps to overcome and obstacles to overcome. Things that you would see in a dungeon, or that you would think of, traps in a dungeon. And then another mind you would go, of course, with Dr. Cortex. And so one of the villains whose mind you would have gone into is Tiny the Tigers, and his world and his mind would have been very D&D inspired, and you had these different dungeons that you would traverse and obstacles to overcome and traps, typical things you would see in a dungeon or what you would think of in a dungeon. And one of the other minds that you would have been able to get into would have been Dr. Cortex's, which some of his backstory is he was actually raised at a circus, and so his family were all circus performers. So you were actually going to get to see his family inside of his mind and how he perceived them. So it was a lot of interesting ideas. But sadly, it's not going to get to see the light of day unless after Spyro 4, Xbox is like, you want to make another Crash Bandicoot? So,
well, I mean, in all fairness, like I don't feel like we're at the end of Crash's life cycle, man. Like there will be more.
No.
There will definitely be more.
I'll say this. I feel like Xbox has a very good understanding of what they're sitting on, and since they're also trying to bolster their Game Pass library, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a given at some point we will get a new Crash Bandicoot. But just as in general for Toys for Bob, I'm really curious to see what they end up doing. And like I said, it's heavily speculated they're working on Spyro 4, and I would love to see what they do with that if that is true. But anything they release, I'm going to be interested in, because obviously we could get Crash, we could get a new Banjo-Kazooie. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Conker's Bad Fur Day sequel. Toys for Bob. You don't know.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think we're at the end of Crash's life cycle, man. We're definitely see another one. So it just sucks that we had an opportunity for a really good one, and it seems like they scrapped that project. So.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on what I was speaking about on Crash 5? Because
I mean,
I don't know if you knew of its existence or not prior to this recording.
I did. I mean, you've told me about this game like multiple times.
I have. Okay.
Yeah, and I like Crash Bandicoot. I'm not a huge 3D platformer guy. Like I enjoy them, but I'm not. You're a much bigger 3D platformer guy than I am. Like you like these games a lot more. And I enjoy Crash. I grew up with Crash Bandicoot on these games, on the classic PlayStation, stuff like that. But I don't know. To me, like, I would like to see more on it. I think it's interesting when you're kind of digging into like the villains' minds and seeing like different levels and kind of adding more, the D&D element, the circus elements that you were talking about. So I like the potential of where it's going, but I don't know. I would like to have seen more on it than just being like, I would play it, because like I'm sure I would have. Like Crash is Crash. You can't go wrong with these games. But I don't know. This is something I would like to see more of.
Yeah, just this franchise in general.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Honestly, this makes me think, and oh man, we're gonna spiral out of control again.
Let's do it.
This makes me think of that that platformer I showed you. You said you already knew about it. You said you kickstarted it, I think, if I remember correctly. But it was a 3D platformer, and the guy was running towards the camera, and he was running through all these different things, like explosions were going around. And it had like a ring, like an AOE effect, and it was like the camera was circling upside down at some point, and then it would circle back. And man, they did an early access like demo build for Kickstarter, certain Kickstarters.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It makes me think of that. I'm gonna have to find that one. That one looked really good, and that makes me watching this makes me want to play that. I'll have to see if I can find that trailer.
Yeah, what are
again.
you talking about?
I have no idea. I remember, honestly, I saw it on TikTok.
Oh, you're thinking of Billy Bust Up.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's what you're thinking of.
I knew it started with a B, but I couldn't tell you
with
anything
the shadow guy that's singing as he's chasing you and everything.
That Cuphead kind of feel to it, but it makes me watching this. It makes me think of that too. So
yeah, but Billy Bust Up. I don't know if that game is actually still in development or not. Because
they sent out the demo to people recently.
Here recently they did.
Yeah, when I sent you that trailer, that was probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Man, you sent me that trailer like a year ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think it was that long, man. Has it been a year? Jesus Christ, man.
Hold on. Is it out? Because I feel like I would know if it was out. No, you can wishlist it. You can wishlist it on Steam. It's still in development, it looks like, though.
Yeah. Because I know they sent that demo out to like certain Kickstarters and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, which, by the way, I do have that one wishlisted. I'm patiently waiting on that one. It does look interesting. I actually have a lot of 3D platformers from the indie market wishlisted on Steam. I'll have to share some of them with you someday, because there's some interesting ones for sure.
That's what we should do. We should do an episode where we show off our wish lists and kind of certain games on there, too. So games we're excited for, or games that may be already out, but we haven't picked up yet. So that could be a good one.
No, that is a good idea. Man, we should just call this episode Spiral.
No, this is definitely going to be the cursed episode, that's for sure.
Yeah, the cursed episode. Man, we're really just going full force into this curse thing with this one, aren't we?
We're I don't want to say we're on downtime, but we know next week we're not going to be recording because you're moving and stuff like that. So we're kind of, I don't know, we got a 1 foot out the door kind of thing. So
Man, it's the curse of the move. Which, you know what? If I don't want my move to be cursed, so
I don't either, because I'm helping you with it. So.
yeah, I know you are.
All right. Well, for our last pick, this one, I think this is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this may be one of the most famous, or infamous, I should say, canceled games of all time.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know if it is the biggest of biggest, but I do know in recent times it's definitely one of the biggest canceled games. Um, and it was a huge deal when it came out. Like, when it got announced, this is one of the first times we had an announcement, but we also got dropped a playable teaser, as we know it, as it was known, I should say, as PT, which eventually would have become Silent Hills. Uh, Man, like, I don't know what to say. What can you say about this game? Like, this was a trailer. This was an announcement trailer. This is basically what people saw at one of the gaming conferences. I don't know if this was E3 or Game Fest.
I think it was Tokyo Game Show as well.
Okay, but I know they dropped it, and then immediately after said PT was playable on your system now, and it's a playable trailer, hence PT, or playable teaser. Sorry, as hence PT. But it was amazing, dude. Okay, it is looped. This was amazing, dude. Like, I assume you played PT.
Oh, I scoured PT
Oh,
looking
yeah.
for anything I could find.
And that's the thing. This is a game that was developed by Hideo Kojima, and Guillermo. I'm gonna butcher this
Guillermo
name.
del Toro.
Thank you, Guillermo. You got it.
Just stop while you're ahead.
Dude, this is a terrible day for like talking, but Kojima and del Toro was working together on this project and creating something extremely magical but extremely terrifying at the same time. And it was just shadow dropped. It was just a thing of, hey, you can go play it now. And when you get those two minds together, obviously you're getting tons of little secrets, little Easter eggs, tons of back lore, even in a trailer, in a playable teaser. There was tons of small things you could do. You could hook up your microphone and talk to the little baby in the game. You had to scour and look for little pieces of paper hidden all over the place. Like, you had to do certain things in the right time. And even if you kind of looked in certain places of the game that you weren't actually intending to look, you would see things that, that you wouldn't have never seen if you didn't, like, look in that direction. Like, it was amazing. And this is just a demo. There's so many, there's actually one more concept trailer that we were talking about earlier that I think actually showcases this game even better. But this one hurts my soul, because this is one I was absolutely excited for. And then, to kind of twist the knife, they pulled PT off the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
You cannot download this demo anymore. And if you have it on your system, I think people are selling their PlayStations online for like $1,000 plus if you have PT on it. So there was obviously a demand for this game. There was obviously excitement for this game, and it just got scrapped. And that, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this was scrapped because of the Kojima Konami debacle,
Yes.
right?
You are correct.
Okay, so all of that kind of fell apart. I don't want to dig into that because we'll spiral out of control on that one too. But it got canceled because of a developer-publisher thing. And obviously, Kojima made Kojima Productions now, so they have their own development studio. And him and Del Toro have been working on Death Stranding and now Death Stranding 2, so they're still working on projects. But Kojima is working on a game called OD. And OD looks like a very spiritual successor to what we're seeing here. So I can't say it's Silent Hills because obviously Konami owns the rights to Silent Hills, but we might get to see this project eventually come to life and kind of see what the inspiration behind this we might get to see something like it in the future. So what do you got on PT, man? What's your take? What's your insight on it?
So I was absolutely heartbroken whenever Silent Hills got canceled. I was super excited for it. It looked insane. It looked creative. It looked imaginative for something in the horror space and the horror genre. I will say this though, because whenever it got canceled, obviously Konami caught a lot of hate, and
Oh
understandably
yeah.
so, because this would have been amazing. It would have been nothing short of amazing. But I also feel like it kind of worked out for the better and everything, because obviously it got canceled and then Konami just sat on their IPs for the longest time, but now we're starting to see a resurgence and everything. And I feel like if Silent Hills did came out, it would have been great. It would have been fantastic, but it wouldn't have been a Silent Hill game. Though I feel like it would have only been Silent Hill in name because Kojima is known for making things his own, and there's
Oh
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. But I feel like for those people who want something that is a traditional Silent Hill feel and everything, I feel like Bloober Team is the excellent choice now, especially since we have the Silent Hill 2 remake. So I think it I think it worked out in the end, don't get me wrong, but I'm still heartbroken that we never got to see what it could have been. But we also kind of do get to whenever OD comes out, so
No, that's actually what I was gonna ask you next, and you kind of answered it already. But so part of me thinks like this trailer was incredible. PT was a
mhm,
phenomenal way to experience this game. But
mhm.
I'm curious if the cancellation of this project made it more uh, memorable, made it more of like a piece in gaming history kind of thing.
Mhm.
Kind of martyrized it, I guess, is probably made the game more of a martyr because at this, well, not martyr, but like more bigger
I see.
deal, more of a bigger deal than what it should have been.
Yeah, I see. I get what you're trying to say. It's going to live in gaming history.
Yeah,
So,
because yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Like, obviously, like we'll never know, but it could have come out and it could have been something completely different. You know, we
mhm.
got this PT teaser and stuff like that. We have the concept trailer, but when it came out, it could have been just another walking sim and could have been very bland and boring. I doubt it because Kojima, he doesn't do anything bland and boring. But I mean, we never know. But I think it getting canceled, it getting pulled from the PlayStation Store, the demand for this game is still unreal. So I feel like that's kind of keeping it in our minds for sure. But
Yeah. See, that's the thing is with Kojima. I feel like with Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2, those are the games that he always wanted to make but never got the opportunity to. And so now I feel like we're getting a return to form of, it's kind of this thing of where it's like, okay, I got to make what I wanted to and what I've always wanted to do. Now let me kind of reshape and reuse some of these old ideas that I had for previous projects, because we have OD coming out and I don't think OD is going to be a one for one of PT or Silent Hills,
no,
but I would not be surprised if a lot of his ideas that he had for Silent Hills get implemented into OD. And
agreed,
then
agreed.
not only that though, but after OD, we know that he has another partnership with PlayStation outside of Death Stranding for a game called, and I don't know if this is a working title or if it's just a code name. It's called Fizzant though, and Fizzant is actually going to be his personal take on Metal Gear outside of Metal Gear.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like we're getting to the point now where we're getting to see Kojima kind of go back to and revisiting what made him so popular nowadays.
Interesting. No, that would be an interesting take because I know obviously Metal Gear has a following and there's a lot of hardcore purists when it comes to that franchise. So that'll be interesting to see.
Hmm. I'm very interested. I mean, you and I are both big Metal Gear fans, so yeah. And then, but OD, I can't wait for it. And obviously, we have Summer Game Fest coming up. Sadly, but Andy and I are going to try to do coverage, but but of course, I had to move right on the weekend. Summer Game happening,
Well, I
so
also think it's a kind of a poor idea because they did it on the day. Like I think Summer Game Fest starts on Switch launch day.
N- I
Because it starts on the
think
5th,
it's
right?
I think it's just pre-show stuff. I think the first official day is like Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know because I know Xbox's presentation, or is Xbox's presentation Sunday or Monday?
Usually it's on Sundays. Usually it's like Xbox's, Bethesda's. Theirs is
Yeah,
usually Sunday, and then Xbox does Monday. No, sorry. Microsoft and Bethesda is Sunday. Monday is usually like Sony and then EA and other like developers, and then I don't even think Nintendo does theirs anymore. I think they do their Treehouse stuff.
yeah, they just do their directs, and I mean even PlayStation's been doing that with their state
Yeah,
of plays. So I don't even expect PlayStation to be there.
that's true. I
Um,
need to look up the schedule and kind of go that route. So
yeah, but Xbox has already said that they're going to be there. They're there every year.
yep.
Maybe we'll finally get to see something for OD. That would be nice. I don't want anything too massive. I mean, obviously Death Stranding 2 is fixing to release. We're less than a month away. By the time this episode goes up, I think it may even be. So,
So OD is an Xbox exclusive, right?
yes, but we're also in that age now where nothing's an Xbox
No,
exclusive.
fair.
But
I just,
yeah,
it hit me that yes, that is an Xbox exclusive. I forgot about that. So,
yeah, Xbox is actually publishing OD.
okay, interesting. So
Yeah, because
hopefully we'll see something on it.
yeah, so Kojima has definitely been getting his mitts in everywhere because
Oh yeah.
PlayStation published Death Stranding 1 and 2. They're doing a new Fizzant, and then Xbox is doing OD. So, but I feel like Xbox was like, remember how good Silent Hills was going to be and how everybody was excited for it? Do you want to make a horror game for us? Here's the money.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's a blank check. Go to town. So.
yeah, exactly. Bring on whoever you want. Norman Reedus, Guillermo del Toro, I don't know, Tom Cruise. No name is too much, Mr.
Conveniently
Kojima.
enough, we get this paycheck every month from Game Pass fans. So yeah, just whatever you want to do, you have unlimited funds at this point. So.
Yeah, here, go wild, go crazy, do whatever you want. So,
But that would be. I'm excited. We'll have to figure out something for Game Pass or not Game Pass, Game Fest. Um, but that kind of leads into our next like talking points. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff going on for the next couple weeks, so our uploads we should be good on our weekly uploads, but there's a lot going on we still want to cover. We have some game reviews we want to do. I know, to be honest, you're probably going to end up doing the Doom review by yourself because you're going to be much further ahead than I am. Um, and then we want to cover Summer Game Fest. We've got some other reviews with some other big games that have been re-released on different platforms. So,
yep, and then also we got some new hardware coming
oh,
out.
that's
So,
true. We're gonna have to go over the Switch 2 as well.
hmm
So we've got plans, guys. Just bear with us a little bit. We'll figure out everything. But once we know something, we promise we'll have it uploaded on YouTube, and more importantly, we'll let you know once we know. So.
yep.
But that's all I've got. I'm gonna let you kind of take us out, man. Unless you got anything else you want to say.
You don't have any more closing statements you want to make?
Nope. I mean, as always, guys, we appreciate you listening and watching and all that stuff. I'm loading a lot more on my solo channel down below at Your Madrigal. Uh, you know, every support, any little bit of support, even if you're sharing videos, dude, it's been crazy to see the views and all that stuff, and it's just I'm not focused on it. Like I'm not trying to, this isn't my retirement plan or anything by any means. Like I'm just doing it for fun, but it's neat to see the growth happen the way it is. So I've been enjoying that. But other than that, nope, I don't have anything else to cover.
All right, then. Well, I'll go ahead and close this out. So, yeah, this is the last time you're going to see this office area and lovely, beautiful background filled with boxes.
So
This is the
are you excited about that or are you sad about that? I know you said it was a sad thing for you, but are you sad about that this is going to be the last time you're recording here, or are you excited to move on to newer and better things?
yes. So I
Fair
don't know.
enough.
And to me, it's just a thing of like I can't believe we've been doing here. Me sitting in this chair in this room has been a thing for half a year.
Yep.
So like I said at the top of the video, it's the end of an era. So,
Well, now we got to
but
get your new room set up. We got to get you a nice gaming corner. So
yeah, well we'll see about that because we'll see about that.
I know,
But
I know.
but anyway, but yeah, guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and then of course don't forget to check out my personal channel Neon I actually have some uploads here recently, and I plan on doing some more once I get moved. So, because I had thought about doing some here, really not in the setup or the mindset to do any recordings right now for the personal channel. So, but stay tuned because there's going to be more. There's definitely going to be more. And I definitely plan on playing more horror games, but I also plan on playing other stuff too. So, because obviously, if you watch this podcast, I'm a big 3D platformer fan, and just a lot of other stuff that I enjoy too. It's just horror games are very easy to sit down and record for, and so that's kind of the appeal to them. And Steam definitely isn't lacking in that department either.
Nope.
So, yeah, so it's just kind of easy. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking through this absolute cursed spiraling episode. The cursed spiral. There we go. That's that. So, but please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Share with your family. We're almost to 30 subscribers, which is absolutely just mind blowing to me.
That's
I didn't think
crazy.
we would. I know I didn't think we would be almost at 30 subscribers. Doing this for only half a year and being almost at 30, that is absolutely insane to me. So
I mean, I know we're trying to wrap it up, but man, we got to think of something like, what if we hit 100?
if
Like,
we
what if we
hit,
get to that point, man?
I will um dance on
Don't say.
camera. I don't know.
I was gonna say, don't say anything too crazy because we will
I
have to
know.
hold you to it.
I'll if we can hit 100 subscribers, I'll dance on camera.
All
How
right, there we
about
go.
that?
You got it.
I'll do.
We got a goal, guys. We gotta make this happen. So.
I'll do some Fortnite dances,
Oh, gross.
or I'll just gritty off camera. I don't know. I'll
All right,
just.
but yeah, I'll let you wrap it up, man.
All right, yeah. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, remember to stay uncultured.